Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head to Slovenia once again. So this is yet another beer that came in with the second coming of the Davor box. So a huge thank you to Davor Šiř for making this review possible. And for this one we are going to return to Nova Gorica, which is of course home to Reservoir Dogs, which you have seen me review beers from a number of times. This one is their Beware of Dogs, which is a collaboration brew, a grape goza coming in at 4.5% that they brewed with Cani di Guerra, who are from Alessandria in Piedmont in Italy. So yeah, this one should be very, very interesting. This is the first more Belgian style beer actually that I'm trying from Reservoir Dogs, so I think it will be very interesting. And the only beer I've ever had from Cani di Guerra before was a double IPA, but I remember it being pretty damn nice actually, so hopefully I can try a few more of their beers at some point in the future. It's been a long time from what I can remember since I reviewed an Italian beer for you, so that's something I really do need to try and sort over the next little while. But yeah, as always, very much looking forward to this review, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the breweries involved here. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Reservoir Dogs and from Cani di Guerra. Hopefully I can do some more from both in the fairly near future, Cani di Guerra especially in that case. But there's all the usual social media. If you want to check out more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Slovenian beers that I've reviewed for you, and another one for all the Italian beers. They both get added to whenever I find the opportunity, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Reservoir Dogs first off then, since they are the home brewery in this one. So Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs was founded by four friends who brewed in their spare time. This was Uroš Komel, who was a mathematician, Alosa Polensic, who was a neurologist, Andrej Sluga, who was an economist, and Matthew Bredzigar, who is an electrical engineer. But they say they basically wanted to brew beer for themselves initially, and they learned much of their trade from the internet, reading beer journals and websites and homebrewing websites and stuff like this. But their beers proved to be very, very popular, and their brewing continued to expand. The company was officially founded back in 2014 as a contract brewer at Hotel Gold Club Birrificio, but they're now based in Nova Gorica, right on the border with Italy, and they just have recently opened up a new brewery which also has a tap room and a much larger capacity than before, and it looks very, very nice. If you go on their Facebook page, you'll see all the photos of this. And it looks like they've got themselves a very, very nice setup there. And of course, the brewery is named after the Quentin Tarantino movie of the same name. And in my experience so far, these guys are producing some very, very nice beers. Their session IPAs, their double IPAs, the black IPAs, the stuff like that, even the Imperial Stouts tend to be pretty damn good. So, you know, if you get the chance to try some of the beers from Reservoir Dogs, you certainly are not going to regret it in my experience. And I'm very curious to see how this one turns out, because this is the first more Belgian type beer that I've actually had from them. So hopefully that's another direction that they start to expand into over the next little while. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Reservoir Dogs for the moment. If you want to learn a little bit more, you can follow them on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram and things like that. That'll keep you up to date with all the latest goings on, and of course you can read a little bit more on the website too. So anyway, on to the Italian half of the beer then. So to Cani di Guerra. So Cani di Guerra was started back in 2015 by Alessio Gatti, who was a brewer that had worked with various other Italian companies such as Bruton, Birra del Borgo, Tocalmato, Brewfest, and also Bad Attitude as well. But he became interested in beer back in 2000 on a class trip to Budapest, and there he visited one of the brew pubs, and previously he'd worked in the chemical industry, so he soon began home brewing and decided that he actually wanted to turn professional and work in the brewing industry. And of course, as I mentioned, he did that with a number of companies before founding his own one in 2015. But the brewery name literally means war dog or dogs of war, and this company is based in Alessandria in Piedmont in Italy. It's a little bit to the southeast of Torino, and they've got a good selection of beers actually. They've got a couple of core beers if you check out the website, and they've got a few limited editions that say they're sold out. But I remember trying the double IPA from these guys, and it was pretty damn nice, I have to say, and I really need to get to Italy and visit one of the craft beer shops and just, you know, try things from all the different breweries, because it is very difficult to actually get a lot of the different Italian craft beers up here in Scandinavia. So that's a trip that I definitely need to make at some point in the future. But it's very cool to return to these guys, and it's cool to review any Italian craft beer, of course, because I don't get round to doing too many of them. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Cani di Guerra just now. Hopefully I can return to them in the fairly near future. But let's get stuck into this beer then. If you want to learn a bit more, as I say, check out their brewery website, and you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram, and that will keep you up to date with all the latest goings on. But we can get rid of the brewery notes now and get on to the actual tasting of the beer itself then. So there you can see the artwork on this one, very typical Reservoir dog style artwork there. There you can see the collaboration side of things there, Cani di Guerra, Reservoir Dogs, and there of course is the typical Reservoir Dogs bottle cap on this one. Very, very nicely presented beer, this one, as you always get, and there is the Reservoir Dogs symbol on the back there. So yeah, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. As I mentioned, a 4.5% grape goes, and I actually could have aged this one for a little bit. This one, it said, was best before October 2020, but I'm reviewing this one for you at the start of March 2019. But yeah, let's get it out and we will get on with the tasting then. I'm really curious to see how this turns out. So as you can see, a little bit of smoke on the opening as we get this one out, but let's get it out and into the glass. So yeah, as you can see, this one's poured a lovely bright golden straw colour, which to be honest is what you would expect from the Goza style. Normally these are kind of straw blonde coloured beers. You can see this glass, I've just washed it actually, I just washed it before, so you can see that there's a little bit of a few big bubbles carbonation there, just sticking towards the side of the glass, but quite a few little ones going up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, pretty much nothing particularly surprising about this one in terms of its appearance. But yeah, it looks pretty nice, and I tell you something, the aroma that comes off this one is also really quite nice as well. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see this one is pretty hazy, but like I said, nothing particularly surprising about this one when you consider it is a Goza style beer. So let's take a closer look at the aroma and just see how we get on then. Yeah, that one's really quite interesting actually. So you can definitely pick up the nice grapes in this, and I would say that it's probably a white grape that's in this, or a green grape, something like that. It's definitely got a little bit of that sharper kind of vinous quality about it. It's definitely a green whitey grape that's in this one, I would say, something along those lines. It didn't say actually specifically what type of grape it was, and of course I can't understand Slovenian because it's not anything like the Germanic languages that I know. But yeah, it doesn't say on the side what grape it was, and I checked on the websites too to see what type of grape it was, and they didn't say. But yeah, you know, it's a lovely kind of nice sharp green grapey vinous quality that comes out of this one, or white grape. I'm not sure exactly whether you're supposed to call it green or white, but yeah, it smells very, very nice, this. You can definitely pick up that there's a little bit of a kind of wheaty backbone to the beer. It's almost a little touch kind of salty as well. You can pick up there's a little bit of a salty note to this one. But yeah, lovely bit of white, kind of wheaty, bready quality, a little touch of a pale malty note in there as well, so a little bit of a kind of sweet biscuit note, but you're also getting a good little touch of hoppy character to this one as well, so there's definitely some floral aromaticity and also a little bit of a grassiness, and it comes across as kind of similar to noble hops, because the Slovenian hops, as I've mentioned to you before, if you've got things like Bobek and Celaya from what I remember as well, and the Styrian Golding, you know, they do have this almost German-like noble type quality to them. So yeah, as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. But we're going to have a taste of this one now and see how we get on. So this one is the Beware of Dogs, a grape Goza at 4.5% from Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs and Birrificio Cani di Guerra, if I've given them their right name, or Birrificio. I'm not sure exactly whether they might even just call themselves Cani di Guerra. But let's get stuck into this one then. Slange, skål, salute, na zdravje. Cheers. So yeah, this one then, it's kind of what you would expect, and it's actually just very nice and kind of subtle in its flavours. So in the middle of the palate, it just gets blanketed, the middle of your palate just gets blanketed with this nice kind of wheaty, white bready quality. That goes right across the middle of your tongue. And on top of that though, I would say that actually the white bready, wheaty qualities, they just sweeten up a little bit the further you go into to this flavour, which is quite nice. Yeah, in the beginning it comes in with this nice citricy sharpness. It does have a little bit of that really tart quality to it, but the further you go into the beer, the more the kind of wheaty, bready qualities start to push their way out of it. And if you go to a little bit more towards the kind of front part of the palate, you've got a nice kind of white, grapey quality there, which is, as I say, it's nice. You do get a little bit of that juiciness. When you add fruit to the beer, of course, it kind of suppresses a little bit of the green side of the hops. So let's focus on that for a moment, actually. The malt base in this one is pretty straightforward. There's maybe a little touch of a biscuity sweetness in the very centre of your palate, but that's very, very light, and there is a little touch of a slight saltiness to this beer as well. Maybe there's even some kind of woody elements when you come further forward along the side, not along the very edges of your tongue, but if you just go into the middle of your tongue and out towards the sides, you can pick up that there is a little bit of a woody quality to this one, which is quite nice. But on the hoppy side of things then, in the back corners of the palate, you've got a little teeny touch of earthiness in there, but as you come further forward along the tongue, you can feel there's a little bit of that kind of floral aromaticity there. It is a little touch spicy actually at the front corners of the palate, but round the very front curve of the tongue, it's just a little bit lighter and grassy. And then on top of that though, you can taste, and the further you go into the aftertaste, the more apparent it becomes. You start to get more of these greeny, grapey qualities coming out of the beer. Yeah, that's really nice. I like how everything goes together in this one. The way that the green grapey qualities come out is very, very good. I'd love to see Reservoir Dogs have a go at you know, like a tripel or a quadrupel or something like that. I know Canny de Guerra, when I was raking through their website, they've had a go at tripels and stuff like this, so I'd be very curious to see how they turn out. I don't think I've ever had a sort of Belgian style beer from Italy, from what I remember. I have had a good few sour beers, so technically they're Belgian, but I've never had a sort of Abbey style Belgian beer from Italy. That would be really interesting. To see something like that coming out of Slovenia would also be very, very interesting. But yeah, this is a really nicely done beer. That I like it. You can feel that the sort of white greeny grape flavours, they just blanket out a little bit of the IBUs of this beer. They just mask it, to be honest with you, which is quite nice. Yeah, I really do like how this whole thing goes together. It is pretty damn nice. So yeah, with this beer then, I would say if you go behind the front curve of the palate, of course I've missed out the fruity side of it. You get that little oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters start to come out of the beer, and for me this one is a pretty straightforward lemony kind of grassy sort of thing that you get from this. I'm pretty sure they're just using some Slovenian hops in this, maybe Bobek or Styrian Goldings, or you know, maybe even a little bit of Dana or something like that. You know, it's pretty straight up in the almost kind of noble hoppy qualities. But the Belgian hops are a little bit like that as well. But the Belgian hops, from what I remember, are a little touch more earthy than their German noble hop counterparts, but not as earthy as the English hops, the Kent Goldings and stuff like this. But yeah, I like how this beer goes together. It's one of these ones that's more about, it's where the flavours all blend together quite nicely, but it's not too punchy in any one regard. It's actually quite a sessionable beer, this one, believe it or not, and it's got that little bit of sour edge that you want. This is a pretty good summer beer, I would have to say. It'd be cool to see them do this with a red grape. I would assume that maybe they're using a Slovenian grape in this, and I suppose it would be an interesting project for them, and it would help, you know, craft beer lovers get a little bit into the Slovenian wine. And I've always said this about the Slovenian breweries. I reckon one of the reasons that, you know, Slovenia and I guess Italy and Greece and other countries like that, they get very good at producing craft beer, and probably a lot of that is because they're used to having good flavours from the wines as well. So yeah, it would be an interesting project to see them do different grapes in this, because I think they've got a nice enough kind of base goza beer for this, if you like. But yeah, to me this one gets a thumbs up. Is it my favourite beer I've had from Reservoir Dogs? Probably not. not, but it is, you know, it is a good beer, and you can't really ask them for much more. Is it my favourite beer I've had from Cani de Guerra? I don't think so either. I think the double IPA was really quite nice. But for me, this one, it's solid enough, not as punchy as some of the ones you're going to get from the breweries, and but it is a nice sessionable summer beer, and you can't really ask for much more than that. They've obviously decided we want to have a go at Goza, and they've put some grapes in it, and it's worked out quite nicely. You know, that's how it goes sometimes. It's a nice beer, this one. If you like the Goza style, I think you are going to pretty much enjoy this one. It's got a little bit more bitter and sharp than I remember some of the other Gozas that I've had being, but it has been a while since I've reviewed this style, so it's nice to come back to it with two breweries that are pretty good, and they've done a good job with it. So yeah, let's leave it at that for the tasting side of things. In terms of the mouthfeel, it's a fairly light-bodied beer, this one, maybe just pushing into the mid-bodied slightly. The carbonation does have a good little bit of crispness to it. The mouthfeel overall, let's have a just look at that again. Yeah, I'd say the mouthfeel is a little bit oily on this one. I do remember the Goza being a little bit lighter and wetter than this normally, so this is a bit more of an oily Goza in my opinion. Nice little touch of hoppy bitterness to this. I would say it's somewhere around the 30 IBU mark. You've got a nice little bit of tart sharpness to it. That comes in the beginning, and the beer really just smooths out and sweetens up a little bit the further into it you go, and you've also got some juicy fruity notes in there from the grapes that they've added to the beer. Like I said, the grapes that they've added to the beer just suppress the IBU part of the beer a little bit. But overall, it's a very nicely done beer, this one, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to try to drink it again. It's a nice summer beer, this one. They could release this as a seasonal, I think, each year for the summer, or try it with different grapes and stuff like that. It'd be cool to see them do this. I've always been more of a fan of red wine than white, to be honest. It'd be cool to see them do something like this with some of the different red grape or purple grape varieties, however you describe them. From Slovenia, because the Slovenian wine, I know it's very good. My old flatmate Jerny, he used to go on about how good the Slovenian wines was, and some of them, I have to admit, were pretty damn good. But yeah, a really interesting collaboration beer from these guys, one that's definitely a kind of nice summer easy drinker. So this was the Beware of the Dogs, a collaboration brew between Pivovarna Reservoir Dogs in Slovenia and Cani de Guerra from just outside of Torino in Italy. A really interesting beer, this, so have a go at it for yourself and just see what you think. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this one in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Reservoir Dogs and Cani de Guerra, and hopefully I can return to both of these guys in the fairly near future. It's probably more likely that I review another Reservoir Dogs beer for you soon before the Cani de Guerra one, but I really need to get to Italy, and I need to review some more Italian beers for you here on the channel. I'd absolutely love that. But you just don't find them too much in Scandinavia. But that's something we will address in the future. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Beware of the Dogs, a grape Goza from Slovenia and Italy. Until the next time, slanted just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Na zdravje, salute.